Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the JKWD podcast, where we got a little something special for you today. Kelvin, how you doing?
Am I the something special? Oh, no, never mind. That's all right. I'm doing fine, Mr. Shear. How are you? It's a lovely day here in central New York. The sun is shining. The snow is melting for the most part. Like my driveway is completely clear, and I didn't have to do it. That was even better. And the air is clean. There's still a squirrel building a nest in the tree behind my house, so which means it's also my lawn furniture is losing weight because he's using the foam from the inside to build his nests. But it's entertaining, so it's kind of fun. Life is good.
Well, I'm better in the tree than in your attic.
Amen. Somebody else said that. Yeah, better than in your house. So, but we got to get that fixed quick because I've lost some siding on the house for some reason this winter, and we got to get to a position where we can get that put back up because it's crazy.
Yeah.
But other than that, life is good. The grandbaby's good. You know, everybody's healthy. I got nothing to complain about.
Excellent.
How about you?
Things are good here. As you can hear, I have another cold.
I think they like you.
I'm going to thank daycare for this.
Okay.
It's been about 1 month since she started. It's always something new and different. Never know what it's going to be like. Like, I got something coming on, and last night my lungs were humming. They were making noises on their own.
Bummer.
Yeah.
As long as it's not COVID, you're in good shape.
Well, I had another test yesterday because that's my new hobby in lockdown. Some people started new podcasts in lockdown. Some people took up painting. I took up going out to get a COVID test because before you get any help for anything else, the doctor wants to see a COVID test. So, and I discovered something that if I go to a doctor's office, he gives me the same test they give me at CVS or down at the county, except he sends me a bill for $135. So rather than call him yesterday, I just went over to CVS and took my test, and
there you go.
When that test comes back.
So glad you made that discovery so you could save yourself some money.
Yeah.
Since you're a frequent flyer.
Right.
We're good.
I wish I could get my punch card. My 10th one's free. All right, I'm almost there.
There you go. Yeah.
We're brought to you today by Vitamin K Daily Philosophical Supplements for your attitude health. Wake up Monday through Friday with a message from the Prince of Positive himself, Kelvin B. Ringgold. Let you know how awesome your day is going to be. And if you're feeling a lack of awesome in your life, how to make your life more awesome, get yourself 4 weeks free by going to vitaminkdaily.com and signing up now. After that, just $24.95 a year. If it turns out it's not for you, just cancel before your 4 weeks are up. And you won't get charged anything.
Won't get charged anything.
Again, that's vitaminkdaily.com. So today on the podcast, we have Peter Snauwaert. Extra vowels in that name, straight from Belgium. Who speaks with a lovely accent. He's got a great haircut. Which, I mean, you don't get to see on the audio, but
yeah, it'll be on the picture on the website. Yeah.
That's right. But we talk about a little bit of everything, about finding your passion and going getting vulnerable and feeling your feelings, and we talk about learning from failure and a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Plus some great reading recommendations, man.
Yes. So we're gonna go play some music, and on the other side of that, you'll hear us and Peter Snauwaert.
Thank you so much.
the Josh and Kelvin World Domination Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go. Did you let him in?
Yeah, and very punctual. Look at that. Even from the United Kingdom. Oh, no, Belgium.
Belgium.
Good
morning.
I apologize very much.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm feeling very Belgian.
My first mistake of the day. Darn it.
No, it's okay. That's Melden. UK, Belgium. I mean, if you look at it on the map and it's really small, it's Belgium and UK are like this. So, but no, not UK. Belgium.
But you're a full hour ahead. You're a full hour ahead of the UK anyway.
Yes, indeed.
Oh wow,
that's correct. Okay. So it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Yeah, and a sunny Friday.
Nice. You got sun over there. Nice.
Yeah.
I have sun this morning, as you can tell from the washed out blob behind me.
You're both in New York City, or where are you based?
No, I'm in New York. Not in the city. Upstate New York.
Okay.
I'm about 4 hours away from New York City.
Okay.
And Josh is in Savannah, Georgia.
Georgia. Nice.
Yeah. So all the way down the coast, but we're both in New York time. So it's easier than telling people. It's easier than naming time zones.
yeah, indeed. Nice meeting you, by the way, both of you.
Nice meeting you also.
You too. Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for the invitation.
So normally what we do is we start by asking you to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us your mission and tell us why that's your mission.
Cool. So I'm Peter Snauwaert. So so it's Peter, and then the last name is Snauwaert. Snauwaert, and I'm from Belgium. If you did not know, my mission is quite simple. My mission is passion. Is really passion. So this means that everybody that I meet, I think you have to be true to yourself and live a life being you and living a life full of passion, doing the things that you love. It sounds really fluffy and things like that, but I think it's quite important to do that instead of living a life of the expectations of somebody else. If that means you are painting or selling software or making podcasts or creating YouTube videos or whatever, or playing music, do whatever makes you passionate and makes you feel great.
And how did you come across this mission?
Great question. Because I think I lived a life according expectations from other people, and I was not aware of the life that I led. So I just lived, and I just think that I had a job, a very great job, but there was something that I felt that I lacked. There was some kind of hole within me, and and then the complete soul searching process then starts. Who am I? What I'm going to do? Things like that, and you just go back to the things that you gave energy as you were a young child, like reading and playing music. I'm also a musician. And then also on a professional level, you find you know who you are, so you know what your values are, and you're going to search for an environment or create an environment where you feel good at and you appreciate it, who you are, and that's about it. So in a very short set.
How did you set about the process of saying, okay, I'm not happy in what I'm doing, and discovering why that might be? What led you to that realization? I mean, whatever you were doing, it sounds like whatever you were doing for work wasn't fulfilling to you, and then you kind of looked in the mirror and said something's got to change.
Yeah, it's I work in life. I mean, it's who you are. That's basically comes down to. So it's not only about work; it's about everything. I had a divorce like 13 years ago, 14 years ago, something like that. which was then it started. I mean, you're alone, and then you start questioning yourself, and it was in a quite dark place, I would call it, and then you start searching for yourself, and then everything you're going to look at your life, every aspect of your life, and seeing, is this really who you are, or is this something that you have been doing but not questioning why you are doing it. And that's actually where it came from. And it's a complete process, it's a journey, it's something I think never will stop. And then you discover that by coaching and by reading books, that you for me at least, discovering my intuition, my gut feeling, something like maybe I should stop here, pause a little bit, and feel if is this something for me or not. Is this resonating with me or not? And instead of just Peter, can you come do this or whatever, because they want to reach their objectives in life. And that's actually where it started. And to answer your question on the professional level, that has been a career coaching process where you discover, what do I want to do, what am I great at, etc., etc. What are my values, and then you're going to look for environments and jobs which are suitable with who you are, which is of course a very fluent and flexible thing, because that changes over time. I mean, people change all the time, and also what I want. I mean, I never expected, for instance, to join a podcast and to have my own podcast like 5 years ago. But now I'm so passionate about it. I love it so much, and you can connect with great people like you. And I share the world that you are from the UK, whereas you're from Belgium, and so that keeps changing. And so the question is that you need to ask: is this really the life that I want to live when I die? For instance, next week. Also, the fact is the fact that I think 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I discovered that I had something on my skin. And the doctor examined it, and I had to do surgery for that. So they cut it away, the how do you call that, the stain, and they found out it was malicious. So this means if I did not take care of it, it would mean cancer. And that was also for me a big wake up call to, I don't have cancer at all, but to take your life in your own hands and to really live life to its fullest.
Great.
So
you're silent.
well, I was coughing, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. Plus, it was an engaging story, so I wanted to make sure I didn't talk and mess it up. But so now you're doing a podcast, and I checked. Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of podcasts. I look at people; they do a podcast a week, and you do like one every 3 days or something. You're talking to people around the world.
Yeah, the thing is that it's normally it's one a week. Mm-hmm. But in this, because I started it in April 2020, so it was full lockdown in Belgium. Mm-hmm. And so this meant that, with this complete Zoom thing, everything is virtual, and it's quite easy. People are sitting in their homes. It's virtual. They don't have to drive somewhere, so they have time also. It's quite easy to connect with people and ask them, are you open to have a conversation for a podcast? And so I had quite some backlog, and that's why I'm releasing now multiple sessions in a week. Mm-hmm. And combining the same stuff. I mean, it's all about stories of people who had, who changed their life, who are really going after their dreams, and at the same time, and it's a combination of people who have become an entrepreneur or a freelancer or started their own company, people who worked for companies but now are more an artist, so people who have been almost dead and now they're have their own company, so they're living their life. So It's really about bringing inspiring stories. But the fact is, normally it's one per week, and so
I saw yours. I said, Josh, we got to get busy because this guy is really killing it over here with these podcasts. So, so it's excellent. So, what would you say is your? This is not like the question Josh asked, but your dominant passion. I mean, if you had to quit doing everything else you're doing and just stick to this one thing, what would that be?
play music. Play guitar, play music. That would be it. But of course, you make me choose, but I'd rather have multiple things. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have so many things I'm interested in. Sometimes I don't even know how I can get to them, but I won't give them up.
Yeah,
because
so
they're all part of the me that I want to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The thing is, music. At the same time, I don't make enough money of music to have a decent living,
Mhm.
and the reason behind it is that I don't want to sell my soul to get money, and so to play music. And because I had teachers in the past who did that, so they teach me in order to get money, but the real passion was to play like in a jazz band. But I mean, jazz is like playing 1,000 chords for 3 people, where rock and pop is like playing 3 chords for 1,000 people. And so I said to myself, I don't want to live such a life. I mean, so you have to basically teach me to pay your bills, but your big dream is to play jazz. I mean, so for me, so I like a lot playing music. But I don't want to. I mean, the thing that I don't do it 100% right now is because of the fact that I want to have the choice to play where, with whom, and what kind of music, without having that pressure on my shoulders to pay the bills. That's why, I mean, making me choose for one passion is a little bit hard, because the other one will be podcasting and inspiring the world, of course, and podcasting is one of them. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I have a similar thing. So let me see. All right,
Do you play
your
music?
music. I used to play piano, but I don't do that. But I have a lot of things like I do photography and I do
Okay.
all this other stuff, and I'm like, most of it has to do with people's self-image and how they feel about themselves, because that's what I want to do. But the music that you play, I mean, how often do you get to play now?
None. I only play for YouTube. So what I do right now is I created some kind of sub-channel passionate thing on my YouTube where I call it say it in 1 minute, and it is just like I take a piece of music which I like. It can be an 80s song. I take a snippet, or it can be a jam track that I found on YouTube, and I just push the record button, I push the Zoom meeting, so I have the video, and I combine those two, the music and the video, and I put it online. It's only 1 minute, and it's just pure from the heart, with all the mistakes, raw as it is, and because there is nothing else. I cannot play with in Belgium, we're still in lockdown, so there are no concerts, there is nothing. So hopefully from September or even December, but then in a limited setup, we can play again. So there's today nothing. So
So you get a long time still until you're going to be able to play, you think, huh?
yeah, it's been I think since January. So no, March the 13th of March 2020. We had a concert and it was cancelled, because of the corona pandemic. Yeah.
There's some live music here in Georgia. I think it'll be some time before Kelvin gets to see any in New York. But we're very much a live music culture in my town, and it's been hard for a lot of venues to get back because they're only allowed 25 to 50% of capacity. So you can't pay a band on a quarter of your door.
No, that's true. That's the, and yeah, and in Belgium, it's only the professional people who are. So this means professional in you have to be an independent or a freelancer and sending invoices. And whereas the how do you call that, the construction where I'm at is more like a special statute. I don't know how you call it, a special thing where we cannot play. So it really, and then for the professional people also, it's really limited. It's really the same as you were explaining. So it's I think for the musicians in Belgium who are living from it, it's really, really hard. But at the same time, for me, is that this jam thing, I like it so much that, and of course I've also recorded music with the other musicians, and do some YouTube videos. Is that I really like the recording part and the jamming part, so I'm not going to stop with it. I don't have any like every week I should have an episode. It's more like a fun, passionate thing, and also again to challenge myself, because recording yourself there's a difference between playing with yourself on music on a jam track when nobody's listening, and recording yourself on a jam track. I mean, yeah, it's a different thing, and it's challenging, and I like that because I want to play as few notes as I can and come up with a very beautiful melody instead of just throwing 1 million notes and create them some kind of musical diary on the jam track. So so saying a lot with not a lot of notes.
Awesome.
I want to rewind a little bit. You said when you were deciding what your passion was going to be, you read a lot and you did some career coaching. We talk a lot about books, so I'm wondering what some of the books that kind of inspired your direction were.
Great question. I read, actually, I'm not a fiction reader. I read a lot of non-fiction. So compared to the US, self-growth, self-development, of personal growth in Belgium is still not mainstream. So, I mean, like 10 years ago, Anthony Robbins, for instance, was seen as a kind of a clown in Belgium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Whereas now he's and even 20 years ago. So whereas now he's within the coaching industry, is really popular. Also, I'm a big fan of him. So it's for me, I have a combination between the personal growth thing, like Anthony Robbins and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and things like that. And then the more like Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle kind of stuff, which I also like. And also the more business, sales, management, marketing books. But the book that really did it for me is a book called Flow. It's a Flemish writer who lives in the US, by the way. He lives next to Oprah, and his book is called Flow. And sorry,
is that Csikszentmihalyi?
Well, indeed, his book is indeed based on the Csikszentmihalyi books, and but the thing is that what he is telling is really about getting into releasing your ego and making sure that you find something which is passionate and connect with other people. And in his book, he's talking about Think and Grow Rich and Anthony Robbins and and what I've done is I have researched all these links and all these authors, and I've read them all, and I've listened to everything, and on YouTube, and also Bart and Katie is in there. So it's a mix of, because the book is actually a book to become the best seller in the world. So the book is really about doing business. How can you do business in a peak state? And so it's more like a personal development, business mindset, spiritual book, everything combined, without getting too fluffy. And that's one of the books for me that did it, together with Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Effective People. Then of course Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm now reading Sleep from Matthew Walker. Actually, I read like two. You didn't know about Matthew Walker?
Mm-mm.
I do. He's
Okay.
is it one of the universities in California? I think. So sleep specialist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why We Sleep, I think is the name of his book. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, me and sleep haven't been good friends.
it's
I
it's an
until just
important one,
recently,
eh?
I only slept about 3 hours a night anyway. That's just me. But wow, so you're reading some good stuff. Yeah, Tony Robbins was one of my first. Just
Yeah.
that guy he just took my mind by storm, and it was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
this is good. So and Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, that's one of my favorites too. I need to read both of those books again because we don't always hold on to that stuff. Once it fires us up, we go do some things, and then we kind of forget some of the detail. And it's time to go back and kind of refresh.
The thing is that first of all, because you read it, it doesn't mean that you apply it. Eh? And so this means that, and second, in addition to that, is the fact that these books have multiple layers. So you have to reread it every couple of years, so to make sure that of course, that you apply it, but that it really gets into your system. Because sometimes you read these books and you will get it on a mental level. Oh, the light is out. You will get it on a mental level, but you don't apply it. You don't feel it yet. I mean, the first time when I read, for instance, like a Think and Grow Rich, I was like, but how do I apply it? And it's the same with Tony Robbins. I mean, you read it and you get such a great energy, that intensity which Anthony has. You also feel it, but after a while that disappears. And if you want to really take charge in your life, you have to apply it, and you have to test it, and then these books are no longer books, but are really really become value for you, for your life. Your life start to change. I mean, in the books that I read, they talk about you have to really fix the inner world, and then the outer world will change. Life is not happening at you, but for you. It's great. It's a great quote, but apply it.
Yeah, sometimes it's more difficult.
that was gonna be my next question: is how do you take that step? Because I think it's real easy to read a book and get excited about it, and say you're going to apply it someday. What's that step that you take to actually make the application in your life and then make it last?
I think it's important to search people who have similar challenges or also open to do that, so you can support one another. I think that's one of the most important things. If you're in an environment where which is non-supporting, like friends or something, which are not into that kind of material, then it's going to be quite hard. That's what I think. And so this is for me key. It's really about searching for like-minded people, and to make sure that you speak each other regularly, to make sure that you check out on one another, and that you are supportive. So this means that you try, and then you try again, and no judgment and all, but you just support one another, because otherwise it's going to be quite difficult. Next to that is, and that's another one, is Atomic Habits. You know that book?
Yeah, James Clear.
Yeah, indeed. Yep. It's also a great one. And the biggest thing there is that there is a big difference in I am playing guitar, or I am a musician, or I'm a guitar player. And I think is the fact that you can visualize, that you can trick yourself into, I am a podcaster, I am a content creator. Whereas maybe 2 years ago, I was not thinking myself that way. So you have to convince you a little bit yourself to do it. So you have to fake it a little bit. And after a while, like I'm doing right now, after a while, you're getting used to that, to speaking these kinds of words. So you're changing your inner dialogue a little bit. I think that's important. I think also awareness is important. So to regularly stand still with yourself, and to look at yourself, and to really start feeling. I mean, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling frustrated, irritated, things like that? I think that's also a very important one. And of course, the fourth one, just do it, take action, and and don't give a what everybody is saying or thinking, and just do it. Like the chicken soup of the soul.
Yeah.
They say it. Just do it and do it anyway. And also if you're listening a lot to these videos and audio tracks, I mean, instead of just watching Netflix or a movie, and you're injecting yourself with all these personal development things, after a while you're so hyped up that you're going to do it anyway. It's just like you have been part of this virtual mastermind with all these authors, and you have literally being a part of their life. So you're like, okay, this is normal for them. No, I'm going to do it anyway. So just step into the fear. Even if you have fear, you just do it anyway. What is the thing that you can happen? You're not going to die. So just do it. And another thing is for me personally, I have a son. There is a son of 3.5 years young in my life, and this is also one of the triggers. Is that kids of children will not do what you say, but they will do what you do. So this means that am I going to fool him and say, live the life of your dreams and blah, 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 but I'm not doing it myself? Or I'm going to at least start by doing that or living that life and taking it step by step. And then he can see, okay, that's how I should do it, because he sees that I'm really doing this. And I think that's also a very important one, becoming very aware of what the steps you are taking to achieve that kind of life.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and it's very easy to see how she sees us as parents because of what she does. And for a while, anything she picked up, she would just put on her ear. They'd be like, okay, well, clearly we're on our phones too much. So we made a conscious choice to, we made the conscious decision to stop. She was around, the phone went away. And you have to let them catch you doing the things that you want to catch them doing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And they're mirrors, and I know sometimes they mirror something that you don't want to see. I mean, in terms of coaching, I think a child is your biggest teacher that you will ever have.
Yeah, so far, definitely.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people think when they get tired, when they want to do something else, that it's supposed to be able to happen fast.
No.
From the point that you started reading the books because you were dissatisfied with what you were doing in your life, and the time you put that into play and got it moving, what kind of process was that for you? How long did it take you to start to believe in yourself like you wanted to get where you're going, to get where you've gotten? Yeah.
Well, there is no such a thing as an overnight success. People, I mean, success is like being pregnant. I mean, everybody congratulates you for the baby, but nobody knows how many times you were And so the thing is that they only see the end results or the outcome, but they don't see the struggle, the inner dialogues, the whole messy process. And the thing is, which I changed for myself, instead of focusing on the outcome, on the result, which is something I cannot control, but I can control the first step that I take, because usually the first step is the hardest one. I mean, imagine your first video, your first audio, your first podcast. You're nervous. You don't know the person. You maybe have prepared some questions. You don't know what's going to happen. So, but if you don't take that first step, nothing will happen. And a lot of people, they are afraid because what other people will think, and they strive for perfection, whereas I'm striving for progress. So what I did, instead of focusing on the destination, on the result, I said I'm going to enjoy myself in a journey. So I don't care anymore if I'm going to get it or not, but I'm going to have fun right away and while I'm doing it. And I say to myself, okay, the first video, okay, the audio is not perfect. I didn't have any microphone, so I just do it anyway. Then the second one, I'm going to add something, improve a little thing. Okay, I have now a video. Okay. Then the third one, maybe I can, I don't know, have better questions and so on. So it's really about that these small steps. So for me, in order to answer your question, I think 6 months after that book that I've read and the coaching, I changed jobs, and actually, by doing that, my mindset completely shifted, and mindset shifts never happen on like that, and unless you have like a very traumatic experience. But usually, it's something that it's like a muscle you need to train. So but then you get better and better, and you becoming more confident, and also you're getting also some kind of external validation, which is very dangerous, because it cannot be something that you fuel on, because that's something addictive, that you would need that kind of external validation, like likes or subscribers or whatever. So because you really have to do it from within. So within 6 months I changed jobs, and then from that moment on, of course, I had struggles and I had setbacks and things like that. But the way I looked at things, like the setbacks, they were like, sometimes I win and sometimes I learn. And the learning part is actually a very interesting part, because it's going to learn a lot about who you are and how you're going to deal with that situation. And you're still alive. And instead of looking at the learning part as a negative, painful thing, because it's part of life. And from then on, amazing opportunities are happening. Like this, for instance. Without that, I would never, ever have met you.
I love that quote. Sometimes I win and sometimes I learn. That's awesome. I'm going to credit you with that. I'm going to talk about that soon. That is excellent. Yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. But it's those little changes, because a lot of people, I win or you fail, but that's the thing. Failure has such a negative connotation, and think, what are the others are going to talk about or say about me? Whereas if you say, or win or I learn, okay, I learned. Okay, I learned. I learned. And the trick is, don't do it again. You learned. I mean, that's it. You do it better, and it happens. And it starts with small things. Otherwise, if you don't look at that way, you're going to get frustrated and irritated, which is also part of life. But after a while, you will become a huge pile of frustration and irritation, and you will become a very negative person. And then you're in a negative spiral downwards. So you have to be very careful feeling that emotion. But you are not that emotion. You feel it. It's a temporary thing, like the sun or the clouds. They're just passing by. You are not that emotional state. You just feel it. It's temporary. And that's also a very big difference there. So,
Wow. That was good. I like that. Hey, we have to have him back. No. So what, Josh, you got something you want to say?
No, go ahead.
So in everything you've done so far in your transformation, what would you say is the toughest thing you had to overcome?
Toughest thing. It sounds a little corny, but I think emotions and feeling. I think for a male, which is used to not feeling, I think that's and being very rational and doing everything with my head. I think that was one of the hardest parts. I mean, people ask me, what's your favorite number? What gets you excited? I have absolutely no clue. I don't know. And people are like, you have to feel, and your gut feeling, intuition. What the hell are you talking about? you only have that voice in your head, and that's one. And the second is ego. Ego is like that mental constructions of all limiting beliefs, what you think of yourself and the way you should act and be and blah, 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 and so on. And learn to see an ego not as a negative thing, but not as the king. Your ego is your servant. Something else is your king, who you really are, that passionate thing, that fire from within. Your ego, you only need to undertake action. aligned action with who you are. Otherwise, if you let run ego the show, I mean, it's going to be a very empty life, and it's going to drain you a lot. And you're going to do stupid stuff and buy stupid things.
Yeah.
How was the change to emotional vulnerability for you? A lot of you say we're taught not to feel, but I don't know that that's necessarily true. It's more that we're taught as men not to show emotion, right? So it's not that we don't actually feel; it's that we suppress it and don't let anybody see.
Correct.
But
That's correct.
you know, so it kind of gets us to recognize the feeling and then shove it aside rather than
indeed.
Not feel it at all. And that's even worse, I think.
It is,
so
it's numbing.
how did you take that step to say, okay, I've got this feeling now, and I'm going to live in it for a little bit and let it out there and just let it be.
It started with me realizing that I had quite a lot of masks of some kind of role that I had to play because I thought that people would like me for that. And emotional vulnerable means letting go of those masks, and you don't care about if people will like you anymore or not, which is quite hard step to take because you're so used into playing that role and getting attention for that and validation actually. So letting go of those masks, and people will disappear in your life, and then you say, it is what it is, and so that was for me the thing. The reward of it all is that if you let go of all those masks, all those roles that you have been playing all those years, you become authentic. And the reward is that you will be able to connect with other human beings in a very warm way, in a very real way, in a really authentic way, which is so fun to connect with people who they really are, because you also show up who you really are or are. And so instead of having these more shallow, superficial connections, the more vulnerable you are, the more you are able to connect with other people, and also you will get some kind of sixth sense, some intuition, some kind of silent voice inside of you, some kind of silent, thing inside of you where you can feel the room, you can feel people, you can sense it, which makes for me life lighter, because you're actually getting away of a lot of it's like a sack that you were holding on and you just release it, so it makes you live lighter. Because to be honest, emotional vulnerability to me 10 or 15 years ago, I think it was for pussies, and I was like, that was like, what the hell is that? No, it's rational, it's hard skills, it's tough. It's not male. It is male. Real vulnerability is male, and it's female. It's not that macho thing that we learned in society. I think vulnerability is key, but it took years and years and years to show up and to learn that. But the thing is right now is that the more you do that and show yourself, you attract also at the same time other people who will take you or appreciate you for who you are. So also opportunities come, which is like and how do you say that? And a very positive, exponentially thing where you and it's going to even make you be more authentic and be more open, because I've shared here some personal stuff, and 1 year ago I would never, or 2 years ago I would never do that, because I know by showing up and saying like it is and showing your process, it can inspire other people that, oh, okay, this resonates with me. Because a lot of people, especially with social media, they create a perception of you and they think they know who you are. But they only see the surface, but they don't see anything below the iceberg.
Mhm.
But it's really the thing under the iceberg which is happening. And that's the thing that vulnerability is really showing who you really are. And
And you've alluded to this, but it really requires you to go out and find people who appreciate the vulnerability, and
No.
and you get a different group of people around than the people you're gonna have to shield yourself from.
No, you have to be prepared to leave it all behind.
Yeah.
Which is okay, I think. I mean, if you no,
Yeah,
a lot of a lot of people complain to me. Yeah, I don't have any contact, and I miss this, I miss that in this corona epidemic, and I'm like, I've met the most beautiful people in the world. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how many beautiful people there are in the world, and this confirms to me that if you're based in US, Georgia, New York, or you're based in Belgium or the UK, a lot of people deep down they just want the same thing.
Yeah.
And deep down we're all the same.
Yep.
And we all struggle, and we all have that thing with our inner dialogue, and we all want to be happy, and all we want to have a fulfilling life, and we also want to be a good dad or mom or whatever. And so deep down, so I'm quite, I mean, positive. I'm very positive actually, because if you do that, the vulnerability is going to open up a new world.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I mean, and you can sense really. I mean, vulnerability. You have a daughter. I mean, being vulnerable with your daughter, that's the biggest connecting thing you can have with her.
Yep.
Well, what? Otherwise, how are you going to learn her to deal with her emotions? Suck it up. Is that the thing?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's some things you got to just let happen and deal with, but it becomes a lot easier if you let people feel what they feel, and be willing to catch them if they need it.
Yeah, indeed. And also, kind of a side effect is that a lot of other people. So what I explained is that you have a kind of an intuition where you can feel the intention of other people, and it's the same with you. Your attention becomes purer and purer and more passionate. Like in my case, let's take it more pure. Is that other people can feel that, can sense that within a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. And you can also sense that, which makes it quite easy to say, okay, this is part of my tribe of passion, and these people, yeah, okay, fine. I respect where you are. You're still on your journey and your path. And maybe you did not had anything that made you go through that process like I did, which is fine. But at this moment, you should live your life. I should live mine, and it's all fine. I don't judge you.
Not judging is difficult.
It's really difficult. It's
So
really difficult.
and I consider myself to be a neutral person, no judgment, but in reality, I mean, that's a spot I have to go to. Like, I'm a life coach, so I have to consciously go into no judgment, because when I'm coaching people, judgment is a really, really bad thing, especially. So I got to be neutral as far as that's concerned, and understand, who they are and where they're coming from. So how long? I know how long questions are stupid questions sometimes, but how long did it take you to be able to go into the spot where you were no longer being judgmental? Because a lot of times it's just reflex. So how long did it take you, once you realize that, to kind of drop out of that and or to control it?
The first thing, of course, it starts with an awareness, becoming aware that you are judging. I mean, we started this conversation, you talk about UK, then Belgium. Immediately, I'm pretty sure you have some kind of perception about Belgium. And then, of course, like you mentioned, Kelvin, is the fact that, okay, I have this judgment, and I'm going to immediately let it go. At least that's how it works with me. So when I'm seeing someone that I never met before, I know there's some kind of judgment. But then you can look at it and say, yeah, it's a judgment, and I let it. I'm not going to listen to the judgment. I'm going to be open. So I'm not going to say here that I'm 100% non-judging. The thing is, although if I surround myself with people, and I have, who are really also conscious about the fact that they are non-judging, or to try to be non-judging, it really helps, because you can correct yourself, you can correct each other. You can say, is that a judging comment? And so it's really about training that muscle. So of course it took me years, and I'm still training. With all of these things, you're never there. You need to keep on training yourself, keep on training that muscle of awareness, of non-judgment. And especially when you're tired, when you have stress, things like that, it's quite easy. Then we become in that surviving state, the fight flight response thing. And then judging is part of that. I mean, because you have to make really quick decisions. And again, if you're aware, okay, I have stress, calm down, have a walk in nature, or meditate, or whatever that helps you. And to make sure that you are no longer in that stress zone. And then you can go back to in the real living zone, instead of surviving, that you are really living, and then you can go on. So it's a continuous process. It's something that's because I used to be very judging. I used to think in real boxes. I put, you study that, that's in that box. You're based there, or you're located there, that's in that box. Okay, they're in that box. So I was really black and white, which I thought would make my life quite simple. Then I discovered that this theory, it doesn't work. It's so difficult, because I was thinking things like, okay, I'm a musician. Musicians per definition are not sporters. And then you meet somebody who is a sporter and a musician, and you're like, I'm going to create a new box, musicians and sporters. And after a while, you're becoming so tired of putting people in boxes, and also judging. It injects you with some kind of negative energy. It doesn't help you with anything. It's a survival technique, but it's not living. You cannot, if you're judging, you can, like you said, you are getting out of your own way. Combined with the emotional vulnerability, you cannot connect with another human being. And in my daytime job, I'm a sales director. I need to connect with other people. If I really want to help them and I want to create value, I really want to connect with them between two human beings. So I have to get out of my own way, and I have to stop judging and seeing the things as they really are. And then I can really help them, instead of trying to fix things. Because if I try to fix things based on some kind of assumptions, I'm not really helping them. That's a more like an egoistic kind of thing. So I have to really be in the moment, deep listening, asking questions, and sensing, and non-judgment, and why you're doing this, to really understand and trying to know that person's situation where he or she is in.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Are you? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, are you doing live, life coaching, or just through your podcast?
No, so I'm actually a sales director in an IT company, and a marketing IT company, and I coach a team of very young sellers, and actually between the lines, what I'm doing is only one thing. I want to show that they are becoming the best version of themselves. So I'm using all the Tony Robbins and all the other things that I ever read, and so I make sure that they work on their pleasing behavior, to make sure on the limiting limiting beliefs, and so on. and to make sure also on the vulnerability, on the emotions, on public speaking, on the fact that they respecting their boundaries. It's a very important one. Make sure they have boundaries, and things like that, instead of just making sure that they're running around like chickens without a head. So and always in the action, and because I don't want that they live the same life that I did when I was 23 and working 100,000 hours a week and thinking it's cool, not sleeping and things like that. So, and chasing that rabbit, which we call success. So, and then they think they will be happy if they achieve that. And I teach them it's just the other way around. You're happy now as it is, and then you will become successful. So instead of the doing, we focus more on the being first. See? So, so I have no ambition to become a life coaching. My life coaching is my podcast. So the books that I've read, the questions that I ask, the conversations that I have with you, and the other way around when you both will come on my podcast, I really want people to see that as that kind of coaching, the wake up call to contact a coach, to go in therapy, to start a business. And I want to hand them over the skills that are necessary to do that. If you have some kind of trauma, heal it. If you are afraid to speak up, I mean, if you have a gift, if you are, I don't know, an entrepreneur, a coach with a tremendous gift of helping people, you have to get out and sell yourself. And selling is not a negative thing. You have to show up in the world and show your beauty, show your jewels, show your gifts. And it doesn't come by itself. People are, So, and that's the thing that I want to do with my podcast, with my platform.
Awesome.
Great. We've talked about a lot of different things. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you think we needed to get out there for your message?
It's a question that I always ask myself, because sometimes maybe you have forgotten something. Yes and no. Yes, we can go on for 2 hours, so it makes the sequel within a year or 2 years, or even a physical one. So we have stuff enough to talk about, because we're now just scratching the surface, of course. I mean, it's really light is the first conversation. I mean, all the topics we discussed, we can, I mean, like emotional vulnerability, you can talk an hour about that. Or the transformation of the mindset, things like that. But maybe instead of adding something, is the message of be true to yourself and be you, and show up in the world as you really are, and see yourself as a kind of person who is sitting on a roller coaster, and you are enjoying life with its ups and its downs, and enjoy and experiment, and don't limit yourself with the words that are coming after the I am. It's not because you are a father and you are, I don't know, an constructor. I'm just saying something. It doesn't mean that you cannot be a YouTube creator or a life coach or whatever. You can define who you really are, but it's up to you to discover what's inside of you. Is that like a good ending?
I like it.
Yeah, it's a great place to wrap up. Where do you hang out most online? Where do you want people to find you?
psgrow.com. So PS from is Peter Snauwaert, and grow is like grow. And the same link is also whatsonyourmind.world is the same. So yeah. Because I saw you contacted me on Instagram. My Instagram is ps_grow. I also have a personal one, but I don't use that a lot. So it's everything under PS Grow. You can find me on Facebook and on of course on YouTube and on. But you can find everything on the site actually. So there are all the links. You can find me. I will also add your podcast, the link on my website. No.
Awesome.
Great, thanks, and we will definitely send you a link when this is up. Should be Monday, actually, I think.
Oh, cool. Great.
Afternoon your time, yeah.
Great.
Cool. Very nice.
Then I want to thank you for the great questions. It was great meeting you. I'm honored because it's always nice to connect with other people, especially from other parts in the world, and to discover how you're living life and how do you see things, because that's if you open up, it's so interesting to see new perspectives, because we are so conditioned by culture and by society and the way we we think that this is the way you should live life, but by opening up is who said, was it Frank Zappa? The mind is like a parachute, it only works when it's open.
Absolutely.
Frank Zappa, for the listeners, is a 70s singer guitar player. People would ask who the hell is Frank Zappa, but okay.
Yeah. So cool. Well,
So
awesome.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been a great conversation. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Kelvin. And I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Show notes and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Bye.
A Better Humanhood production.